I'm Celia Bonner and I'm directing The Curious Savage at the Wilmslow Green Room. The play is about Mrs. Ethel Savage. She's a mature lady, a widow, a very rich widow. And really her idea is that she wants to use this huge amount of money she has, both for her own and other people's enjoyment. But unfortunately she has three greedy stepchildren, and their idea is that they want to get their hands on the money and use it for their own ideas. And so to that end, they are bringing her to a home called the Cloisters, where she is to live, and so they can get their hands on the money. And the play takes place in the Cloisters, in the sitting room of the Cloisters, a rather elegant home actually, and we meet the inhabitants of the home, who are brilliant characters.
She loved me. Of course. People say it when they say, take an umbrella, it's raining, or hurry back, or even, watch out, she'll break your neck. There are hundreds of ways of wording it. Just have to listen out for it. My dentist said I had a perfect occlusion. Was that telling me that he loved me? What else? The first time I met my husband, I was riding a horse, and he told me I had a good seat. Knew immediately that he loved me.
Oh, thank you. I've been missing so much. Oh, my dentist loves me.
Now,
The play was written in the 1950s, and obviously that's when it's set. I'm not sure if the people who live in the Cloisters today would actually be living in any kind of a nursing home. They might well be at home being looked after. But that certainly isn't an option for Mrs. Savage. It becomes quite clear that's the last thing that her dreadful stepchildren want. And really the play revolves around the stepchildren's attempts to get hold of the money and the attempts of Mrs. Savage, abetted sometimes in rather strange ways by the inhabitants of the Cloisters, to stop them getting the money. So really, and suddenly, this is your... Florence does it all the time, looks after people, but suddenly this is your notion.
Oh, right.
I'm going to be terribly... Exactly, I'm going to be terribly brave.
Right.
there's a big one in the paper. I'll show you and you can judge yourself.
Oh, don't read us anything out of the paper, please.
Oh, I won't. I'll just show you the picture.
Oh, we don't look at pictures either.
People always pin them under lorries. I'll peek first to make sure that it isn't horrible.
Well, even I don't say it's horrible.
Oh, she's a queen. She's wearing a crown.
Queen? Look, that's a tiara. It's an old picture. It was taken when she was married to her Slovak prince.
Let's take a quick look, Hansel, just to be polite.
There's some great characters in it. Mrs. Savage herself, called the Curious Savage, who is a very feisty lady. It's not very obvious to start with, but you realise that there's a lot about her. And she quickly becomes friends with the inhabitants of the Cloisters, who all have their odd little quirks. There's Hannibal, who plays the violin, sort of. And there is Florence, who has a child, or does she? And there is Fairy, who, well, the name Fairy tells you everything you need to know about Fairy, really. But they are all interesting characters. And then there are the staff of the Cloisters as well. And then the other people that we meet are these appalling stepchildren. One is a lord, one is a judge, and Lilybell, the daughter, I have described as a serial wife. She gathers money by marrying rich husbands.
Hell hath no music like a woman playing second fiddle.
She kept the tiara.
Oh, indeed she did. I think she sleeps in it.
I don't know where I've seen a pretty tiara.
The dress is cut rather low, isn't it?
I don't like her. Why don't we do something mean to her?
Why?